Hi, my name is Ashley, and today we're going to be talking about The Artist's Way. So, The Artist's Way, how I kind of found this book was it kept showing up on my TikTok page, it kept showing up on YouTube, it just kind of kept finding me in a bunch of different areas and spaces. And originally, what attracted me to The Artist's Way was the transformations that people were having. So, a lot of people were saying, oh my gosh, I feel like my creativity really came back, or I feel more like I'm creating in my authentic space. I just feel really lit up, really inspired. And I was just really excited by the transformations that people were having, so I figured I would give it a shot. So, if you're not familiar with The Artist's Way, essentially just what it is a book that was written by somebody that is an artist and is in the film and writing industry. So they created this workbook, if you will, that is 12 weeks long. So for 12 weeks, if you read her book and you follow the instructions and her routines, then by the end of it, you're really going to tap into your creativity, you're going to feel more aligned with your authentic self, and you're just going to be more inspired and creating in a fulfilling and rewarding way. So whether that's money-wise or just enjoyment-wise, whatever. So just to give a little outline of what some of the things that are required in this book, because this is the type of book where it works if you work it. If you simply just read it, there are going to be things that you take from it and things that you keep in mind, but it's really a workbook. It's a book and a workbook. So if you choose not to do the exercises, or if you choose not to do the morning pages, it may not go as far as if you obviously did the work. So the very first thing that she says is every single morning you're going to do 3 handwritten pages. So as soon as you wake up in the morning, you're just going to have a stream of consciousness. So it doesn't really matter what your grammar looks like, what your spelling looks like. It doesn't matter what you write or how it looks. You're not even supposed to reread it. It's just 3 pages of a stream of consciousness. And the reason why she encourages this is because so many creatives, or just so many people in general, are so in their heads. It's as soon as they wake up in the morning, they start consuming other people's content, they start getting weighed down by other people's opinions. And this stream of consciousness is literally for you to just get everything out of your head from when you wake up that is unfiltered and raw. And a lot of people struggle with doing the morning pages. It's they either say that they don't have time or they find them annoying. And what I found, because I did do the morning pages the entire 12 weeks, what I found is the morning pages are annoying at first, but you do eventually grow to really like them and enjoy them. And I didn't do a huge ginormous notebook. I just did a regular journal. And I don't know, when there were moments where I was kind of I don't know what to write about, that's what I would say. I'd be I don't really know what to write about, but I know that these morning pages are important. Maybe I would do my affirmations. I literally just showed up because I just wanted to see how it would unfold. So that's probably my biggest tip for people is you have to try to see the morning pages through. Even if you're waking up 10 minutes earlier, or if you're skipping something in the morning that's critical, really try to just do it, because eventually you will grow to enjoy them and actually feel like they're missing when you stop doing them. But anyway, so the first thing that she recommends is the morning pages. The other thing that she recommends is that each week you go on what's called an artist date. So this is a date where it's literally just you, and you're doing something creative, or just something that you feel the urge to do, something you're inspired to do, something exciting. So I'm trying to think. A few of the artist dates that I went on were one day I just cleaned out my closet and then I put together a couple outfits. Because it's when you have all those clothes in your closet that you're kind of avoiding wearing for whatever reason, I made myself take them out, try them on, see what they're like, just going through my closet and just testing out different things and donating a bunch. I did a day where I painted, I did a day where I just walked around and got coffee by myself. I'm trying to think what else I did. Sorry if you hear my dog, he's chewing on his bone. Trying to think, what else did I do? Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's really anything that you're inspired to do. And I tried to do things that were low cost. So, like, I tried not to do things that were, like, super expensive. Like, I didn't buy, like, a whole embroidery machine, which I was, like, honestly tempted to do. I just tried to keep them very low cost, low maintenance, and were kind of exciting. Like, I just tried to work with, like, what I had in my local town. And then, of course, you read the chapter every single week. And then usually, like, throughout the chapter, especially at the end, she has some journal prompts for you to review and reflect on, and you really just do the ones that you're called to doing. So she may give you 20 journal prompts, even if you do, like, 3. Just, like, something to kind of contemplate or mull over. If you want, like, a full recap of each week, I'll be uploading a video where I literally just talked about, like, my highlights or my favorite parts in the week. Each week, she kind of touched on, like, different topics. So, like, the very first thing that she touched on was just, like, introducing creativity, introducing the book, introducing, like, some of the rules. Then she talks about, like, making money as a creative and why, like, so many creatives don't make money. She talks about, like, where some of these blocks come from, you know, whether it's perfectionism, whether it's fear, whether it's, like, how we grew up. So she touches on just, like, a variety of different topics. And one of my favorite chapters was when she discusses, like, not forcing inspiration. So I don't know why, but this line really sticks out to me. She talks about, like, how people will go around shaking apple trees because they feel like that's what they're supposed to do and that's what makes the most logical sense. And she's like, if you actually stopped and just, like, kind of relaxed a minute and, like, allowed your creativity to guide you, you'd realize you were actually supposed to be shaking orange trees, and that would get you further and that would be more fulfilling. Another big takeaway that I really loved, she talks about the concept of luxury and how a lot of people think luxury is like the Prada bag or it's like buying a horse. And she's like, there are opportunities to experience luxury all the time and in your day-to-day life. She says the thing is it's really like a learned behavior. It's about, like, embracing luxury rather than, like, pulling yourself away from it, like living the Cinderella experience where, like, you think you deserve less. And the example that she uses was raspberries. She's like, raspberries are an expensive fruit considering you're not really getting much. And she says, you know, for $4 once every couple months, she's like, ultimately, that's not really going to make or break most people. She's like, it's an extra $2 or an extra $1, and you get to really experience luxury and happiness and really enjoy something. And she's like, to be able to experience that luxury that'll ripple into other things, that'll ripple into your art, your happiness, who you are. She's like, I think that $4 is a fair price to pay for that. So she just encourages you to kind of, like, spot those areas of luxury in your day-to-day life. But yeah, I think those were probably my 2 favorite takeaways from the book and something that I still remember even months later. Okay, so what I didn't like about the book is, you know, you can't do it audiobook. You have to sit down and really read it, which is fine. But at times, it did feel kind of boring. Like, there were some chapters that were a little boring. And she calls people out in the beginning. I don't remember if it was the introduction or if it was week 1. But she, like, encourages you to explore that a little bit, too. She's like, why is it boring? Like, why is that not exciting you? Like, she kind of encourages that you, like, explore that with yourself and push it a little bit. I guess, like, especially towards the end, I was kind of like I kind of just wanted to be done with it. Even though the book was so helpful and it was so satisfying, it was like I could tell that I was rushing my results and just wanted it to be finished, which is something that she talks about in the book. So it was just interesting that I was able to observe that behavior. And, like, part of the reason why I didn't enjoy the book was because of that. Was because I was rushing the experience, if that makes sense. Like, I just wanted to be like, okay, complete, done. Like, I didn't want to have to, like, keep coming back. But honestly, I feel like that's less about the book and that's more about me. There was something else in the book. She talks about, I think it was, like, not reading. She, like, tells you to go on, like a reading ban or something like that because you're no longer taking other people's ideas. I think that because this book was written a long time ago, I think, and I could be wrong here, I think that would be the equivalent to us doing a social media detox. I think when she says a reading ban, she's talking about, like, or a reading detox, she's talking about, like, newspapers or, like, watching the news. And maybe she was talking about books too, but I didn't do it. I was like, that's just not, I'm not going to do that for 12 weeks. And maybe I was robbed of some experiences, maybe I was robbed of some ideas, and I don't know. I was okay with that exchange. I'm not going to not read a book, and I don't scroll on social media
that much in a day anyway, so whatever.
I have to say one mistake that I think that I made was documenting my journey. And I think she actually calls you out in the beginning for this. Like, she says not to teach others when you're doing the Artist Way experience. And that my goal wasn't to teach people, but I wanted to document the experience to share it. And I actually think that I probably shouldn't have, because I almost feel like there were moments where, like, it took me out of the experience and out of the lessons because there was a little piece of me that was, like, trying to observe it from a third party perspective. I was like, oh, I gotta make sure I mention this, or oh, I gotta make sure I mention that. But yeah, I think that's it. I think I'll leave it there. Overall, have I seen a difference with the Artist Way? Yeah, I think that I have. I do think that I feel more creative. I think I feel more authentic. I'm definitely saying no to things that are like a no, yes to things that are more of a yes. Like, I'm seeing those creative nudges. Yeah, I would definitely recommend it to anybody. I think it was definitely worth reading. I guess the biggest thing that I would suggest is, like, make sure that you are, like, dedicated to this. Like, it really is something that it works if you work it. I feel like it was extremely insightful and there were a lot of important takeaways from it. And it's also the type of book that, like, I reference or come back to often. Like, whenever I kind of feel like I'm a little stuck, like, I'll rewatch some of the videos that I had, or, like, I'll go back to certain chapters that, like, I remember, like, procrastination. I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm procrastinating. Like, let me go back and reread that chapter. So it is a really good reference book. So just for that alone, I would definitely recommend it. But I would recommend it to people that are going to take it seriously. It's kind of like a challenge. That's how I looked at it. But yeah, I think that's everything. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below, and I'll leave everything linked below, whether it's the other video where I went week by week, or, you know, just like a link to the actual book. And I'll see you later.